Now that we have the melody all completed, we can go ahead and add a new cell to start coding the drums. So I'm gonna click this green button right here to make a drum cell, and I can just name it drums. So we want the drums to start kind of like when the beat drops, which is gonna be after all of these so I can play the melody and show you guys. Okay, so that is where we want the drums to start. And because of that, we don't want to play any notes before beat 12. So what I'm gonna do in order to make that happen is use the rest function right here, and I'm gonna rest for exactly 12 beats, like that, so that the rest of our code starts playing drums right around here, which is exactly when the beat is supposed to drop, right around when the cursor is around here. So we're gonna be using this 808 drum kit, which is correct, and I'm gonna be using another for loop in order to play a sequence of beats about 7 times, and that's gonna cover the rest of the song from here to the end. We're gonna first play a kick drum, just like that, and then we're gonna play 2 snares for half a beat, so a kick drum for 1 beat, 2 snares for half a beat, like this, and then we're going to clap and then play 1 more kick drum, and we want to do that 7 times. So if I were to only want to do it once, I'm not going to include it in a for loop, and I'm just going to say play note 0, and I'm using 0 because, as you can see, this kick drum right here is the note 0 on this drum kit. So if I just did that, we're basically gonna just rest for 12 beats, and then you're gonna hear 1 kick drum for 1 beat, just like that. So I'm gonna keep going, playing all of the notes that we want our drums to sound like. So again, we can play 2 snare drums for half a beat each. And then we want to play 1 clap for a whole beat and 1 more kick drum at the end. So now what this sounds like is something like this. We're still resting for the beginning of the melody, and then once the beat drops, that is what it sounds like. Okay, so now we have all of the notes that we want to play in the right order, but we want to do this exact same thing 7 times. In order to do that, we're going to use another for loop, and it's going to be slightly a different format since we don't have like a list like this. So instead, we're going to use the range function. And when we use the range function, we're going to start with the for loop again. We're going to specify a variable that is going to be incrementing every time we loop. And in this case, I'm going to call it I, and I'm going to say that we're going to have it in range 8, just like that. Or actually, I'm going to make it range 7. So when you have a for loop, whatever you want to be putting in the loop and whatever you want to be looping through, you want to indent it so that it knows, what's inside the loop and what we want to be looping through. The reason why I chose 7 here is because we want to repeat this sequence of notes 6 times. And when we use the range function, the default starting value is 0. So saying range 7 is the same thing as saying range 0, 7. And this last number right here is actually excluded from the range. So range 0, 7 is actually the numbers, and I'm going to comment this out, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And since we want to be going through this, I guess it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, we're going to be using the variable I, and that's going to be incrementing from 0 to 6 and doing this until I reaches this number right here. We can play it, and you'll see that the same sequence of notes is getting looped through. So now that we have the drums and the melody, we can see what they sound like together. And so I'm going to start both of these at the beginning using these buttons right here. And if I play them at the top, they should play together and we can see what they sound like. Okay, great. So that sounded really awesome. All we have left now is to make the bass and tie it all together. Okay, awesome.